Hello, today I'm going to present to you a few bits of research I read about over the Easter break. I'm going to start with the topic of global migration. Migration is a movement of people across a specific boundary to establish a new permanent place of residence. On the screen, you can see some key definitions that will help you to understand some of the main concepts of migration. Some key facts about migration from the research that I made during the holidays was that most migration consists of people moving to another country in the same part of the world, for example, Eastern Europe to Western Europe. Immigrants tend to earn 20 to 30% less than native-born workers. If the country reduces the pay gap between immigrants and native-born workers, the immigrants could earn an additional $800 billion to $1 trillion for the economy output annually. This will also improve the socio-economic environment for the immigrants, for example, by lower poverty rates and higher overall productivity in destination economies. 90% of the world's 247 million migrants have moved across borders voluntarily, usually for economic reasons. In contrast, the remaining 10% are refugees and asylum seekers who have fled to another country to escape conflict and persecution. The image on the bottom right-hand corner of this slide shows some of the main migrant flows across the world. Migration can cause both positive and negative impacts to the country. An example of a positive impact of migration is economic growth. The GDP and tax base of the host nation can be boosted by working migrants. This means that the country has more availability to spend on public expenses such as education, healthcare, and transport links. In contrast, a negative impact on migration for the host country is that there is an increase in cost to provide services, overcrowding, especially when the host countries where migrants migrate to are already relatively populated. Furthermore, there is likely to be disagreements between different religions and cultures. This can create tension and conflict in the country, which can increase the rate of racism and lack of opportunities. The physical side of the course that we start off Year 12 with Miss Stewart is Glaciated landscapes. I study the Rhone Glacier, located in Switzerland. Like many glaciers across the globe, this one is melting rapidly. The ice mass, which 11,500 years ago covered the majority of Switzerland, has retreated 4,600 feet since 1856. The research I conducted over the holidays was addressing how scientists are attempting to slow down the rate of melting of this particular glacier by placing white sheets over the ice. Scientists say the process of covering the glacier can reduce the rate at which the ice reduces by between 50 and 70%. The sheets come at high expense due to their size and them having to be placed onto the glacier using a helicopter. This reduces the risk of humans going onto the surface of the glacier and securing them, which would cause a health and safety concern. This further lowers the amount of high-temperature bodies that the glacier can absorb to speed up the process of melting. The white sheets increase the albedo effect, which is a positive feedback system, which is studied in much more detail in Year 13 during the climate change topic. In essence, the albedo effect is where light surfaces, in this case the white sheets, reflect more heat compared to dark surfaces. This therefore means that the sun that penetrates onto the white sheets gets reflected back into the atmosphere and so reduces the amount of melting of the glacier because the sheets protect the ice melting. It has been proven that humans appear to have caused 69% of glacial melting between 1991 and 2010, and warming has only accelerated in nearly 8 years since. The IPCC is an organisation which is the authority on contemporary climate change. It releases information that is highly reliable and accurate. The last report states that the Earth's temperature will rise by 1.5 degrees as a global average. The organisation is trying to cap it at 1.5 degrees, but will be done with difficulty, so they are more likely to cap the rise to 2 degrees centigrade. The Paris Agreement, which is going to take effect this year, has been based on the information that the IPCC